I have a really special treat today. This is a special treat for me because my dear friend Pamela is here with us and I get to talk to her and see her beautiful face. And it is a really special treat for all of you. Those of you who know Pamela know how just beautiful and powerful and potent and transformational her work is. And those of you who haven't gotten the opportunity yet to experience Pamela's energy, you're in for a treat. We're going to be talking about the Akashic Records, and some of the energies and frequencies that Pamela works with. She's created her own modalities, which are amazing. And you know, as a healer, I am constantly working on myself every day. It's the most consistent thing that I do in my life is healing, spiritual work, energy work, um, you know, just all of that, whatever that encompasses, is probably the most consistent thing that I do in my life. I work on myself energetically and spiritually every single day. But sometimes an outside perspective, an outside energy is needed. We can't always hold space for our own self with everything that's coming up. We can't always see our own stuff. And I have less than a handful of people that I trust when I'm in that spot. And Pamela is one of those people. So I'm excited for this conversation today.
Elysia, thank you for that incredible introduction. I love you so much. And I don't know, I'd like to say I'm one of your biggest fans, but everyone's a fan of you. So I'll have to say that I absolutely adore you to the point where I came to meet you. I adore you so much. When you and Kimberly were doing the Mount Shasta retreat, and I wanted to meet both of you, and I was working with you, so it was so easy for me come across the country to meet you. So thank you. And I'll introduce myself. So I'm Pamela Strum, and I have been doing energy work and healing work for decades now. It was a natural attraction, and it's been a really long journey and a path along the way. And during this time, so I'm a licensed acupuncturist and herbalist. I have so many things. I love studying energy, and just like you, I work on myself every single solitary day. And I feel so called to step up and be of service to people. And I was aware of this before I knew what this even meant. So I knew I was in service to people, even when it didn't make sense with how my life was structured at that time, to know I was going to be in service to people, or how it was going to play out, So yes, I do have two modalities that have come through: grid light healing and light years. And I saw myself when grid was hovering, a golden ratio interdimensional light healing was hovering around me, I saw myself working with you, and I knew you were the person to help me bring it in. I just saw you there. And then you made this offer that you were going to work with 3 people. And I timidly called you because I'm also a sacred soul alignment practitioner, and you're this amazing person. You help so many people. And you did something for me that made it effortless, and you held space, and with your gifts you witnessed grid light healing drop in. And we've done a video on that, that you've allowed me to share in this group, and you shared it in this group originally, but I've shared it again. So I want all of you to know, though, that I'm talking because of an offer I'm going to make to all of you. I'm specifically talking today about the Akashic Records, and I contacted Elysia and asked her, Elysia, do you mind if we do an interview together where you share with people what it's like to work with me in the Akashic Records? And I say this because there seems to be this mystery around the Akashic Records. And it's truly my belief that we have this access to energy within all of us. We all do all the time. And so sometimes it's as simple as having someone witness and hold space for you. And everything that's there for you for your highest and best good comes in. And you've done that for me. So if I can sort of flip this and ask you the question, and maybe I don't know if I should clarify more what I mean by the Akashic Records, but sort of why did you seek me to work with you in the Akashic Records, and what did that mean to you, or how did it play out?
Yes. So I reached out to you, what was about a month ago now, and we scheduled a time. It was the day before Halloween, which was so perfect because that's the time in this year, every year where the veil is the thinnest. Although the veil is very, very thin now all the time, but it was almost like non-existent for those couple of days there at the end of October and beginning of November. And I reached out to you because I'm working through and on some really, really deep stuff in my own personal life that goes back, to the beginning of my life and before that even. And everybody probably here that's listening probably knows that Kimberly Carlson and I are best friends, and we kind of are each other's person oftentimes when we go to for healing. But I knew that you were the person that I needed to work with on this, because you are, I would say there's probably two people that I really, really implicitly trust the pureness, the purity of your energy and the power of the healing energy that comes through you, and your ability um, to really access truth without the filter of your own experiences. You're able to really hold space and access the truth without allowing, so many people, when we tune into something, it's going through the filter of our own experience. And it takes a lot of different things to be able to really access true truth without allowing that filter to interfere with the information that we're receiving. And I knew that you were that person for me in this instance, as you have been before. And so we scheduled a time, and at the time that I reached out to you, I was feeling a little bit desperate and I wanted it yesterday. But we scheduled, I think it was about 2 weeks down the road that we scheduled it for. And it couldn't have been more perfect timing, because everything always is. And it was the first time that I'd ever worked with you actually, doing the process of opening the records and going into the records. I work in the Akash myself. Everything I do is working with the Akash, but I don't often do the ritual of opening my records, going in and doing it all formally. And I think that's where the mystery comes in for a lot of people, is that I think people, over time, if we looked back 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, I really believe that it was necessary to do all of that ritual to access that information. But as you said, we all have it within us. But there is something about that ritual, doing that ritual, entering into that sacred space with intention, that really does open up something unique. So in this session, which was quite long, I think we were together for about an hour and a half, maybe longer. Just so much came through. And, you took me on a journey that, of course, neither one of us knew what was going to happen or what to expect. And a journey that really led us to a lot of ancestral work that happened to come through in that session, and certain things that just made so much sense to me for everything that that I'm really working on. Um, what I see as the bottom of the barrel sort of stuff that so many of us are working through right now. So many of us have done so much over the last however many lifetimes we've been doing this work. And I feel like right now in this moment, there's so much coming up for so many people. And this is like the final threshold, to be able to walk through this. I don't even know what you want to call it. Portal is not the right word, but to really step into a new timeline, like for real. We talk about timelines all the time, but this is for real, like this timeline, collective timeline energy that's available to us right now. So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit about that, but and I lost my train of thought because of course we didn't talk about what we're going to talk about exactly. The ancestral stuff, the ancestral work. So we did some really amazingly deep work that I feel like I'm still processing 2 weeks later. And in doing the work that we did, I know for sure that it has had a direct effect on my sister, because this is work that you and I did on really my mother's, my maternal lineage, and on my daughters. So, not only am I seeing the effects and still really processing in a deep way a lot of what we did 2 weeks ago, it's having a direct effect on my family, which is one of the most amazing things about healing that we can offer to humanity, especially to our families. And the outcome has really been, just in the last 2 weeks since we did this session, a lot of clarity and a lot of closing some pretty big karmic loops that have been a part of my life, all of my life, and I'm sure in other lifetimes as well. So I guess that's in a sort of rambly way in my experience with this particular session with you.
Elysia, you're never rambling. I think people love hearing what you have to say because it's poignant and relatable. And so I want to say one thing for those of you who don't know or who have heard about the Akashic Records. The Akashic Records are sometimes called the Book of Life, where it's recorded every word, thought, or deed you've ever had or experienced in this lifetime, in any other lifetime, in your ancestral line, in any incarnation. And I use that term just because it's a term where I can communicate, but you kept talking about it as a pure energy. And that's what it strikes me as, a field of pure energy, because we always have access to ourselves in our completeness and in our ancestral line. It's all there. And everything's encoded within us already. So it's really this, you're right. I think not that long ago, going through the ritual was important to tap into that energy. And I still go through ritual because I think sacred ritual is important. But this notion that, I can do it, this person can't do it. And, people sometimes put their, make it seem as if it's something that they can do and someone else can't do. And that's not where I'm going with this. But what I would like to point out is, even when I do work with people, and thank you so much for pointing out that the part of me keeping my piece out of it, because who I am, because of one of two things. One of the things I really, really like about myself, and I'm going to say this because I have a daughter, and the chit chat of her friends about criticizing themselves. And I said, to counter that, why don't you throw in, oh my gosh, I love myself. I think I'm great. But to really own ourselves as amazing beings. We're all phenomenal source beings. We're all source. And so I don't even want to consider myself someone who channels energy, because in channeling energy, my muck can come into it. But what I have always known myself to be, and once again, before I even knew how this would play out or what it meant, is a conduit of energy. So what energy? Source creation energy. Like, let's go to that, the purest of energy that can be accessed. And so if it comes out to work with someone, sometimes people in Akashic Records want to know, like, oh, tell me my life purpose, tell me about my past lives. And when someone works with me, sometimes past lives come up if it's pertinent to that person in the moment. Or I'll sense somethings of a past life. But every single solitary session of which I work in the Akashic Record, so this field of pure energy, is always healing. It's my calling to do healing energy. And if I call myself an energy worker or a healer, those are labels as well, so I can communicate with you. So you're a healer. You're an energy worker. We all are. And this time, because the veil is so thin and sometimes really non-existent, where we've really swept into this time of immense help from the universe to expand and be our full potential, it seems as if a lot of people I speak to are experiencing maybe panic, anxiety, blocks, and what seems like the opposite of that. And I will say to you, to me, it looks energetically like you're cleaning out a closet. So when you're cleaning out a closet and you open it up and it's jam-packed, you take everything out, it's chaotic all around you. You have your stuff, you have your muck, and you're making decisions and getting rid of stuff and holding on to things and discovering discoveries that you make before you make everything all tidy again, right? So it seems that on the planet where people are feeling overwhelmed, I'm so excited to be on the planet at this time. And I think what's coming through is really a phenomenal opportunity for all of us to create our existence exactly how we wish it to be in this lifetime, now. And so in service to do that, so in your session, you do so much energy work, you're so expanded, things came through so easily. So sometimes it is things that have to do with an ancestral line, but it's always healing energy. And sometimes things like practices come through, or technology. In my modalities, grid, light, healing, and light years, I see things as light and sacred geometry. So the formation structures of the universe. And when I work with a client, even in the Akashic Records, so my processing calls in the modalities have turned into Akashic Record sessions because they, in such purity, process healing energy that comes through. So it's still up to the individual to do what they want with that information or energy, but it's really me getting out of the way for what comes through for that person and delivering it to them in as clear a way as possible. And even if it comes in at a future timeline for you of what to do with it, because you said sometimes I'm still processing, right?
Yes.
So this is like, it's this beautiful, beautiful way to work with people, and working with you or any other client, what comes through, I'm benefiting as well, because I stand witness to what's your divine aspect, the highest aspect of you. And I learn as well, and I'm taught technology, I'm given information that then helps me grow and expand as well. So we activate each other. And this is why when you contacted me, it's so much fun, and I feel like a little kid in that purity of excitement. And also, I love you so much, but I see in my clients their greatness. And that is an amazing thing. So that's the other thing. I really like that. I like where I can see what's great about someone, even if they're on their journey of uncovering their greatness and their powers. It's palpable when I do these sessions with people.
You really, really hold that ability. I've witnessed that in you, and that's such a gift, because sometimes we don't see those things in ourselves. And to be able to have someone who's holding space for you in that way and who can witness that in you, that alone is very transformational. And then you add in everything else, and it's just magical.
Yeah, science is finally catching up, that our DNA behaves differently if it's being witnessed. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, and so I might post that. So our DNA will actually expand and relax if the being, it's not always a person who's witnessing us, is witnessing us with compassion or neutrality. And, as opposed to, I think maybe we've all in our human life had experiences of someone looking at us maybe and they're angry or they're disappointed, and we shrink, we shrivel up. And so that actually happens. And I'm so happy that science is catching up with what we already know when we do energy work, or what we already experience. But these things are being, quote, proven on the third dimensional plane as well. So is there anything else you'd like to say before I make this offer to this group that I wish to make?
Well, I just want to express my gratitude to you for everything that you're doing in the world, everything that our friendship has given me, and I'm just so grateful for you, and I love you.
Thank you, Elysia. Thank you. And I'm really grateful for you. And I know this sounds like a love fest to everyone, but I love Elysia. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to feel like I'm giving back to you too. That's important to me. And in this time last year, I went into hermiting. So I felt very quiet and not at all like I wanted to be out in the world. And doing more than what I was doing already with clients and patients. And I know around this time last year, I think you started your Sacred Soul Society. You knew you were stepping out in such a massive way. And look at what happened this year, right? You knew you were going to be doing this, didn't you?
That was so interesting, because I was first called to do a 100-day container, like really strongly called. And to set us up energetically for 2020. Who knew how much we were going to need that? And then from that space, I was strongly called to do a year-long membership style program. And I had no idea. Of course, none of us did, really what was coming down the pipeline for us. And I'm really glad that I listened to that guidance, and everybody else. Like, there's a couple hundred people in that membership. I'm really glad to everybody who listened to their own guidance and stepped into that. Who knows if I'll continue it for 2021? I'm still feeling into that, but it's been an amazing support for me just to be, holding space for that.
Well, and I love that you said that you're holding space and it's a support for you, because I feel that way too. I was in your 100-day container, and I'm in your year-long Sacred Soul Society. You create such sacred space. And I tell people, really watch where their energy goes around this time. Watch where you place your thoughts. Watch when you join in groups, because of the energy is so accessible, and you really teach people how to keep their own energy so clear, and you create this beautiful space. Well, this year I feel the polar opposite than I did last year. I feel so in service for whoever might want to work with me in any way they can, however that might play out. So I've really been asking the universe, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do to work with people? What do I do to be in service? What do you want for me to express of my highest aspect? Like, what's my mission that's aligned with my mission? What do I do? And so I had just been coming off golden ratio interdimensional light healing. And this was really being posed as, I knew to do grid light healing. It's called grid light healing. At that point in time. We started in October. And I'm going to do one more round, by the way, everyone. I feel so called to really pull in everything to possibly pull in. during this time. And I had a little pause. My father passed away during this time, and I worked only with my acupuncture patients and my energy clients, simply because everything else in life, I sort of went quiet again. But boy, do I feel out there like gangbusters. And the answer, what came through is for the grid group is to offer them further Akashic Records, which is how we do our processing calls, at a discount. And as soon as I had the thought and got the answer and a price dropped into my head, a tag comment came on, which was, and offer it to Elysia's group in Sacred Soul Alignments. And so I sometimes show up as featured practitioner in Sacred Soul Alignment. I am going to be a featured practitioner starting at the end of this week. So I'll be coming on in the group. But that's when I contacted you and said, you know, Elysia, would you please come live with me and share with people, someone like you who has all these tools in your own modality, like how could I be in service to everyone? So, you know, people understand if they're really feeling their struggle, but what about it's really for anyone? And how can I do this and let people know what it's like to even I seek help, right? And I have no worries about admitting that I seek help when I really wish to have someone hold space for me. And you've done that for me, right? And you continue to do that for me. And so if someone went to my website, which is princetonhealinghouse.com, I opened it up and I put a $25 discount off one session to work with me in the Akashic Records as opposed to bundling. So instead of being $247, $25 off, it's $222. What I offer to my grid group and what I'm offering to your group is $50 off. So instead of having a session that's $247, you can work with me for $197. And I'm going to do this through the winter solstice. I keep getting the winter solstice as this massive, massive date. Now, you know, a lot of energy. There's huge things happening, and I know it's going to go into the next year. And some people are going to feel like, what on earth is going on? And I sort of feel like I'm in this Pamela world where I'm going, oh my gosh, isn't this time so exciting? Like, this is amazing energy, and look at this. Because what's happening is like cleaning out that dirty closet, what is no longer aligned with the higher dimensions as Earth, and we are stepping into these higher dimensions, it's higher access frequency of energy. It crumbles away. It doesn't exist. I mean, we'll still have the third dimension, and the third dimension can be really fun at times. Like, who doesn't like to hug someone, right? That's like be in our bodies and experience hugging or delicious food or whatever. But it's going to be a time where a lot of people seem confused, or they're buying into third dimensional concepts of duality, of struggle, of suffering, of anxiety, and it will feel real at times. So I really wish to be here offering people help in any way, however you get help. And I want to say this. Can I just add one more thing, Elysia?
Of course.
Okay. I might actually put a video blog about this. Let's get out of that dynamic of looking for saviors. Mm-hmm. It's really about us stepping to our sovereignty, trusting our hearts, our heart, going deep inside ourselves. The truth of who we are is in our hearts. It's always with us, always. And finding answers within ourselves. If the universe, if we're in a third dimension of duality, if we're looking for a savior, there has to be something from which to save us. So we're going to break down that construct and clearing out this dirty closet where really we come inside ourselves. Now, if someone really needs help, please, reach out for help, but know inside of you, you have everything it takes. Simply, sometimes you wish to have someone by your side or holding space for you. So I don't mean if you're really in crisis to not get help. So that's a bit of a disclaimer, please, please. But sometimes it's having someone by your side. And I know you've held space for me in ways where simply having you witness me, everything just drops right in. And it's still up to me to do the work because it's my divine will. And I'm the one who makes the choices about my life. Am I going to hook back into that dynamic? Am I releasing it? And sometimes it can seem tricky. And sometimes having someone by your side makes it so much easier. So it's a way I wish to hold space for people, in addition to, other ways people can find me. But I have a feeling that, do you want to say something?
Oh, I cannot possibly agree with what you just said more. That was so, so well said. And there is a huge gulf of difference between looking for a savior or pretending to be somebody's savior
Yeah.
and inviting someone to hold space for you and witness for you and bring forward, be the conduit of energy. The savior dynamic is extremely disempowering, and holding space, that whole dynamic, being in service, is extremely empowering. So we can I think we need to like edit just that part of what you said out and like put that out everywhere, because it's really important. And the other thing that you said that I love so much is that we can have somebody witness for us, bring through the healing, all of that, but it's still up to us to do the work. Nobody else in the world can do the work for us. People can bring awareness, can bring, be a conduit of energy, but they cannot make the changes for us.
Yeah, that's critical. It's so true. And that everyone's human. So in this time where things seem so confusing, really dropping into your heart and train yourself, because the more you do that, the more clear it becomes, right? But I will tell you, anyone who's acting as if they know more than you do, they're ahead of you, that's an illusion. It doesn't even exist. So that's just one guideline for whatever you seek. And certainly, yeah. So I just hesitated for a moment, because let me just say what flashed through is, in working with groups, like, you create this beautiful, beautiful safe container. And I have practices to create a safe space in a container when I work with people in groups. But know that if you're about to enter into a group, to maybe ask to go into your heart and ask for yourself to protect your own energy, meaning you keep your own energy. And that's what really happens in a healing session, is it's not giving your energy to someone, or someone adding their energy to your energy. Your energy is within you. And so when even I speak about the Akashic Records, or reference, I'm even careful when I talk about chakras. These are all constructs that were developed, where really it's yourself as a being of light and source energy. And the rest is words to describe you embodying the fullness of who you are, and what's there in your life code, your DNA, your RNA, your plasmic light. It's all there. But I don't mean to get trippy on everyone or too far.
I love it. There's a lot of comments here. So can we share the link for people to book for a session? So yes. I highly, like, your regular price is already an outrageous deal for the energy that you bring forward. You are one of the highest, what word do I want to say? You hold some of the highest integrity of anybody that I know. And that is crucial when you're bringing forward healing and holding space for someone. So your regular price is already outrageously a good deal. And, a discount of this nature is really makes it even more accessible to more people. And so if those of you who are feeling called to this and are able to commit to that, I highly recommend doing this with Pamela in this crucial time before this eclipse window, or this solstice window that we are moving into and moving through December 21st. We all know that it's going to be, there's something really important about that particular moment in time. So I can't say highly enough how much I think everybody should do this.
So as many times as you might want to book up till the winter solstice, even if you have your session after the winter solstice, because we are going into the holiday season and busy time, that's fine with me. So you can even get sessions now and not book them until 2021. If I'm sort of sensing some of you might have the intuition to book next year. So that's all fine. So however that works for you, I'm here in service.
I only ever share, and of course with Pamela, this is obvious, but just in general, I only ever share things that I know are in alignment, at least with me. That doesn't mean that everything I share is going to be in alignment with you, but it's very rare for me to actually share something. And this is definitely something, your work is something that I would shout from the hilltops for the whole world to be able to hear and experience your energy. So thank you for offering this in this group and for us, and for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Elysia. Thank you so much.